Hello and welcome to our 15-minute flow series. This is the fourth instalment and the final instalment for this one. The first three, if you haven't checked them out, take the time, go back and start from number one. It's been a really nice journey together in slowly priming our body, getting our body a little bit more efficient on one leg, learning how to circulate our system, and then the fourth one today is going to be connecting to the ground. And this is going to be maybe a bit more of a preface of some of our next series, which is going to be mobilizing close to the ground a lot more. So this is going to be a nice introduction, or if you've done any of my work before, or if you've purchased the Awesome Self course, the online course, we go in depth to floor work as well as the other themes that we were talking about. But this is just a nice thing to be able to do with zero equipment. We only need 2 meters of space and just our beautiful bodies with it. So if you want to join me on our knees, if the knees is no good for you, cross-legged is perfect. If cross-legged is no good for you, extend your legs out, get comfy. You never need to sacrifice your health to find a certain pose. So that applies to a lot of things in life. You don't need to sacrifice just so it looks right. It should feel right. And then it'll slowly get more and more comfortable. Just start here for a minute and then just move your hands out of the way. And then next time it might be 1.5 minutes. See how you go. But yeah, this is where we'll begin. As long as you've got an elongated spine, I'm happy. So we're going to be connecting to the floor a lot. Follow at my pace if you can. Feel free just to pause the video, take notes, anything you like as you're going as well. It's designed to be fluid, but also just chew on it at your own pace. So starting on your knees, it's going to take 3 deep belly breaths just to leave what you've done before this session. Leave that behind. And what you got to do after, it's great, but it's not important right now either. So just be right here for 3 deep breaths, eyes closed. If we can elongate the spine and allow the crown of the head to move to the sky, a gentle chin tuck. Allow the belly to expand into your hands as you breathe in, and allow the belly to retract away from your hands, navel towards the spine as you breathe out. Get the breath lower if you can. Good. And after your third breath, just give your body a little wiggle. Just check in, ear to shoulder, each side. How is my neck feeling? How's my upper back feeling? We're going to begin pretty much where we finished off last session by doing some circles with the neck. Nice and slow, ear to each shoulder, chin to chest, eyes to the sky. Make the circle small around any sore parts. Keep the movement very thick. And after you've done 5 circles, we're going to change direction. See if there's any areas of tension. Slow it down where there are. Let the neck and shoulders breathe. Good. And moving from here, just allow yourself that space between each little exercise to the next one. Moving from here, we're going to see how can I go from my knees to extending my legs out in front. And then how can I go back to my knees? Again, my knees went to the left before, now maybe I'll go the other way. Legs out, in front, rolling back. Legs out in front, alternate 5 each side. Using the hands lots and lots and lots, even if it meant going very slow and being very ginger on the knees. We want the legs extending out, bringing ourselves back. Extending out, bringing ourselves back. And then return to the knees. So 5 each time, or 3 to 5 each side, and just do it really slowly, and we just be as smooth as we possibly can. From there, I'd like you to come onto one knee. Let's get our ankles, knees, and hips strong, but also malleable. Interchanging from one side to the other. And over time, you might just do this without the use of the hands. But it's no difference to me whether you use the hands or you don't use the hands. Just see how you're going. 1 each side and back. 5 each side in total. So now from here, I'd like us to go enter into our squat position. So we go from having one knee on the ground into the squat position. One knee on the ground into the squat position. And really be liberal with the hands, because it hasn't always been this easy for me, but it's gotten easier because I've used my hands heaps. So there's no such thing as cheating in my books. Use help if you've got it. That's why we've got 4 limbs that can be really dexterous instead of 2. So explore different ways of getting onto one knee. And then back to the squat, one knee, back to squat, good. So if you've done that 5 times each side, see how it feels. Then from the squat position, we're going to open up the hips. So I'm going to move my right shoulder to the inside of my right knee. And then either with my left elbow or my left hand, I'm encouraging this knee in and out. As much as you can, even if the movement's very minimal. After you've done 5, hold it right out as far as you can for a good 10 seconds. And then we go back to the center. Left shoulder on the inside of the left knee. Right hand is now pushing the knee in and out. It could also be the elbow pushing in and out. Expanding, contracting. After the last one, holding for 10 seconds. Good. So from there, we're going to see how gracefully or smooth can we move ourselves onto all 4s with the knees on the ground. Hands and knees on the ground. So this is a nice opportunity. I'll do it facing side on. It's a nice opportunity to really open up the spine while we're decompressed, so we're not squatting or standing. So first, we're just going to do 5 cat-cows. So arching the tail and arching the eyes to the sky, chin to chest, tail tucked under, shoulders nice and broad. Big breath in, expanding. Big breath out, contracting. Anywhere between 5 and 10 repetitions. And I want the whole spine involved. Broaden the shoulders, chin into the chest. Extend the spine, eyes up to the sky. Move your whole body to the very end of each movement. From there, what I'd like, after you've finished, is to move some circles with the hips. They say that the pelvis is the gateway to all movement, so I'd like the hips to be nice and fluid. Movement crosses through the upper and lower body via the pelvis. So we want the pelvis to be really soft and able to access nourishment through the spine. So I'm just interchanging. I'm going 3 circles one way, pause. 3 circles the other way, catch that momentum, pause. And then after I've done that 2 or 3 times each, I make circles in the hips, but I allow the hips to feed energy up to my shoulders. So it becomes a full circle through the whole body, but I want the movement to be initiated from the pelvis. So we're going 5 in each direction. Slow is good. And then after we've done 5, we change direction. Nice and slow. Keep the movement thick. Take up and access as much of the body as we possibly can. Good. So staying connected to the floor, we'll just lift our knees off the floor now. Keep the knees nice and soft, hips up high. What I'm going to do is exactly the same thing as I was with my knees on the ground, but now I take my knees off and I move through all 4 points with my knees off the ground. You can bend the elbows to come closer to the floor, making it more about strength, or you can keep your hips nice and high, but making the circles as large as possible. After 5, we'll go the other direction. I'll face forward now in case it helps with your visual. Taking up lots of space, moving slowly with the breath, making the circles as large as you possibly can. After we've done 5 both directions now with the knees off the ground, we're going to take 3 points of contact onto the floor with our right foot coming off the floor. So just like we did when we were working on our balance in the second part of this series, where the leg was taking up space, I'd like that same concept to be explored from all fours, all 3 points of contact. So now it's the right leg is taking up as much space as possible. If you've got any injury in the pelvis or lower back, do this really slowly, or you might even want to keep all 4 points of contact on the ground for now. But if you're feeling confident and healthy in your back, and this doesn't raise any alarm bells, take up a lot of space with the right leg. See how many different positions your body can get into via the leg. After 45 seconds, then change sides. Balancing on the right. I'll do this second one side on in case it helps. Now my balance is on the right, my left foot is moving through space. I'm being as fluid as I can. I want to get the corners out of the motion. I want to see how fluid can I be with these points of contact on and off the floor, and really using my imagination, not just my instructions, or not just my instructions. I want you to see, what have you got available to you today? After 45 seconds, placing that limb down, move our left hand towards the center, and now we're exploring with our right hand, all with the purpose of becoming more and more comfortable close to the ground. Take this right hand all through the limbs, and then trace it in and out and around through the limbs. Use my voice to guide you, or just go into your own journey right now of where feels good, where feels possible, where feels challenging, and go there. Do it slow enough so you're never going to hurt yourself. After about 45 seconds, balance with the right, left foot's up, moving through space. Slow is good, nice and fluid. Still, and it's not just the hand that's moving, it's the whole body. So I'm really bouncy with my knees. I'm fluid with my other hand. It's not just locked in that one position or through space. I'm seeing where else can I go. From there, we'll take ourselves back to our squat position. I'll continue front on. And some of you guys who have done my online course before would have practiced this a bit. But now we're going to play around with different positions from the squat position. So this is 2 ways to increase our non-linear strength. So first, I'm going to see, can I take my right hand 45 degrees forward? Once my hand's forward, can I then stack the rest of my body on top of that hand? And then back to the center. Can I then get my left hand 45 degrees forward? And then my whole body comes on top, and the rest of my body facilitates that. Now I'll go behind, 45 degrees to the right. Shoulder ends up on top of the wrist, and I expand the rest of my body out. Back to the center, 45 degrees to the left. My shoulder ends up on top of this. My upper body goes around. After you've done those 4 points of contact, can we do 2 rounds of that? But can the second and third round, which we'll do together, can I deviate from that 45 degree angle? So can I just now alternate, so 2 rounds more, can I now alternate where I place my body? Where I place the hand. It doesn't have to be 45 degrees anymore. It can be any position. I'm just crossing over. It can be right hand goes to the left. It could be left hand goes to the right, or it could be just straight out in front. But I'm actually taking 4 points to get around a full circle, and I want to see if I can do this a couple of times each side. So we would have done it by now 2 times each side. Now let's go for 2 more, so that will be 5 times in total from the very beginning. So I'll go again. I want to be able to touch the ground another 8 times. Maybe on the last round I can get myself closer to the ground. So see, can I get my head down to the ground in these 4 different points of contact? Can I use the other hand just a little? My left side is not as strong as my right, so maybe I'll use some support through that side as well. So that should give you enough juice and enough fuel just to have a play around. If anything to take away, once you've warmed your whole system up, getting in a squat position and moving out from the squat position. So many of our activities in life, when done right, require us to compress and expand, and we want that body breathing the whole time. So see if you can take that close to the ground, compression, expansion. Can you take that theme and run with it a little bit? So just before we move on into the day, cross our legs over, elevate the spine, give your shoulders a little shake out. Can you breathe just in and out through the nose? Watch the body's heat rising, the heart thumping. Can we create a bit of a pause at the top of the breath in? A bit of a pause at the end of the breath out. And before we do move on into the day, what's one thing that we discovered about ourselves in the last 15 minutes that we can be proud of ourselves for? It might be, I found this exercise in particular very hard, so I'm going to discover more about my resilience by continuing to find ease through that exercise. Or it might have been that you surprised yourself in a position. I found I was quite good at that exercise, so that's encouraging. I'm going to see where I can take that. But I'd like you to take something from this session, embody it yourself, make it yours, and really enjoy the process. Whether you're good and you're getting incredible, whether you feel quite poor and you're going to get to being above average for yourself. It's all relative to your own situation. So thanks again, guys, for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. If you're liking this content that's coming through these series, we go deeper and deeper on it in our Awesome Self online movement program. You can find that really easily just by clicking it into the YouTube link. Give that a go as well, because that will deepen all of these concepts and it'll give you a lot of tools to work with for your movement practice. Thanks a lot, guys.